بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أتمنى طبعا تستمتعوا بالغداء مع التركيز معنا إن شاء الله. So let's start a brief introduction. I think from the previous sessions, and the sessions will be also continuing with the sessions tomorrow. We see, or globally we see the AI job market is on fire, and it's expected that AI will generate huge career demand. This requires that both the academic institutions and the job industry to come together and discuss current and future careers in AI. And today we have in our panel a very diverse expertise that's gonna talk about careers in AI. So I would like to welcome our panelist, Mr. Waheed Al-Hamid, Executive Director, Business Development, SAP Oman. طبعا الجماعة اللي واقفين هنا عادي تركزوا معنا ماشي مشكلة. زين. Second, Christophe Zorbi, Founder, CEO, Zaka, Lebanon. Mr. Tariq Al-Sulaimani, Data Scientist, PDO. And finally, Dania Far'oun, not Far'oun, Lead Communication and Partnership, Deloitte Touch, Qatar. So I'll move with my panelists. So are you ready for questions or still focusing with the food? Okay, so we'll focus with this group then, because you are very close to us. Bon appetit. So first we'll start with a brief intro. So each of our panelists will give us an idea about them, and also how AI is, or how they are related to AI, or AI integrated in their current job. So I'll start with I start with the one the close. Okay, so we will start with Dania then.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Faisal. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so my name is Dania Far'oun. I work with Deloitte. I'm a PMO lead, and I manage the marketing and communications and the partnership for a client portfolio. The ministry, actually, the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology. How do I work with AI? Basically, AI is integrated in all of our marketing practices nowadays. If you look at where data is stored and being analyzed, it's all on the internet. So AI helps us analyze this data to meet consumer needs and hence do our marketing strategy accordingly.
We can move with Waheed.
Assalamu alaikum. طبعا my name is Waheed Al-Hamid. I'm the Executive Director for Business Development at SAP Oman. I think we have very fruitful day. I think majority of you started knowing what is AI and how AI affect our daily life. Of course, in SAP, all our technologies are embedded with AI technologies, because AI is very important part of all the revolution was happening. So some example, like if you see the Series or Alexa on our mobile phones, they are part of AI. The vacuum robotic is part of AI. So already we are using a lot of AI technologies. Netflix, okay, it's using AI technology. So AI is becoming very common technologies and very demanding, okay? And I'll leave the rest for the later. Thank you.
So, hello everyone. My name is Christophe. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Zaka. I'm initially a software engineer and then I transitioned to become an AI engineer. So I've been working in the AI field for more than 7-8 years now. And looking at the state of AI and the potential of AI in the region, I've realized that there's a big need for education. And so this is why Zaka basically was born. So currently I'm an AI educator, and through my company Zaka, we help individuals transition to become machine learning engineers and to work in the AI field. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Tariq Suleimani, and I am a data scientist working in BDO. I hold 10 years of experience, started as a software engineering, and all the way to become a data scientist. And I'm playing the main role in the team, which is working on one of the AI career which is data science.
So I will, I have my question to Tariq and Christoph, because from what I've heard from you guys about, talking about yourself, you were in another field, which it kind of related, but it was different field, and then you transitioned into AI or data science. So could you just give us what is the career path, or from your experience, what skill is needed for you guys to switch into your current field now?
To be honest, I always wanted to be an engineer, and so after the graduation from the high school, I got a seat in College of Science in SQU, and I thought that computer science is all about graphic design. So I decided, why don't I give it a try? So when I explored the curriculum, I saw that computer science is all about programming, mathematics, and statistics, which is all what I am passionate about. And also, while I was a student, I started to, I had that habit to improve my programming skills. And also, I started I started hearing a lot about data science and the AI field. So I started exploring that field and reading a lot about it. So when I got, except after the graduation, I got to work as a software engineering, and while also working, I started exploring the field. I also took it further to complete my master's degree in big data. And all the main skills that helps me to move from being a software engineering to being a data scientist is having that kind of skills of programming and mathematics and statistics, which is one of the main core skills that everyone enter this field should have.
Excellent. What about you, Christoph?
So trying not to overlap with your answer, I'm initially, as I said, coming from a software development background, so it was a bit easier for me to transition and to start implementing machine learning algorithms. So obviously when we say AI is a big field and it can mean different things, but a subset of AI is basically machine learning or deep learning algorithms. And as a developer, again, it was easy, so having the skills to write code can be beneficial if you're learning to implement AI, but also you don't have to be a technical person to be working in AI. So there's a lot of positions where you can, for example, become an AI product manager, or you can have understanding of what AI is from a high level, not technical, and then you can use it to work with other members of a team, right? So I would say the skills you need, other than programming, obviously, is the ability to understand and play with data. So having a love for the data is very important, because 80% of what you're doing as a data scientist or machine learning engineer is you're working with data. So this is a very important skill.
My question is now for Wahid. So Wahid, from your perspective, as a top management and also as a SAP, what are the career path in AI? From your experience and also from the data you have for the current path and the future path in AI.
So there is different path of careers in AI. So as Chris mentioned, there are some technical paths, okay, which we are talking about data sciences, AI engineers, we are talking about developers, we are talking about BI analytics engineer. So there are a lot of multiple paths in when it comes to the technical path. There is a lot of paths which are non-technical paths, okay? Like what he mentioned, okay, as a product development, okay, where you don't need that technical experience. You have a lot of other paths in marketing, okay, when it comes to user experience. It's very important, user experience, it's very important element nowadays. So we want to make sure the experience of the users are there. Of course, the third part also, which I love it, is sales. Okay, so always you need people to sell the technology. So this is another path also. One important fact, as per the recent researches I was reading also, there are more jobs in AIs available than the profession itself. So it's huge. And by the way, during the pandemic, the demand on AI professions was really huge, and there is no people to fulfill that.
Hopefully we will, such events will help us to change our perspective and have more and more, graduates or also people in AI, inshallah. Dania, AI and marketing. Okay, I know marketing. It's. I think people who follow up the marketing field, they know you guys really love data. But AI in the marketing, could you just explain, how it's related, and is it integrating AI or actually, like, it could use like specialized AI, machine learning experts, data scientists in marketing?
Okay, so basically when you talk about AI, everybody thinks robotics, machine learning, and they don't think about marketing. But let's take a step back and look at marketing from a general perspective. What is marketing? Marketing is basically checking your consumers, analyzing their wants and needs, and trying to promote or market a product to meet these needs, to meet their demands, okay? And how do we do that? Traditionally, we used to get a market research company. We used to tell them that they need to do their market research. They go, they analyze the groups, they analyze our consumers, they come back with data, we analyze it, we embed it we develop our marketing strategy, and then we have our go-to-market strategy. Well, nowadays with the internet, if you think about it, your consumers are everywhere around the world, and the data is exploding. By the time the research company brings you the data and you go to the market, it's outdated already. What's good in AI is that it deploys this explosion of data and does the analysis, the huge data analysis, the abundant data analysis. It identifies the interests of your consumers, and it gives you their insights in a way that we can work our marketing strategy to give them their solutions, or to promote our services or solutions in the way that they see convenient to help boost our market growth. So yeah, that's how AI works with marketing.
طبعا عشان نركز انكم متابعين معنا يمكن نسالكم اسئله بعدين فخذوا بالكم يعني ما تاخذوا براحتكم وتاكلوا وتنسونا تمام. So just a quick comment. The three gentlemen, they mentioned when they talked about AI and machine learning, data science, they indirectly mentioned mathematics, a lot of involvement in mathematics. So I believe that's a really bad marketing for AI. So do you think that AI needs marketing? I believe so. So now let's start, our next question with Christoph. So when we talk about preparing, people for AI market. So we have people who are currently in the market where their job is at risk if they do not, consider getting into AI. Plus, we also have those, students or those, academic institutions who are preparing students for typical job market. So, from your, opinion, how the current employee could switch and be prepared for the AI, job market, and also how institution could prepare their students to the AI, market. I'm talking about students who are currently studying like, typical, computer engineering, data science. There's no yet programs like, bachelor in AI or machine learning. So,
Yeah, that's a very important question. So I'm going to answer the second question first. I believe that what's mostly needed, just like Wahid said earlier, there's a lot of demand and there's not a lot of supply. So the most thing that universities can do to prepare their students is to focus on practical skills, is to focus on the hands-on implementations of AI, because this field is moving really fast and you have to always keep up with the new tools and the new frameworks, because these are the tools used and required at the companies. So when someone graduates from university, having all the theory but no practical hands-on experience, it's difficult for them to find jobs at certain companies where they require skill sets. While at the same time, if someone without any degree in AI, but who has maybe practiced some projects and built something on their own, it's much easier for them to find a job. And so what I tell all students that come to us is build a portfolio of projects, get hands-on experience that you can showcase on your CV. This will help you easily land a job in the field. Going back to your initial question, I believe that AI and automation is, maybe reducing or automating some jobs or part of jobs, but there will always be new jobs that are being created. And so I believe people should invest themselves in learning new skills that are, following this, the digital age and the new skills that are needed. And so, for example, digital literacy and data literacy is something that I believe everyone should at least be aware of, right? And even if you're not gonna work in AI practically, I believe everyone should understand this technology and how it affects their industry and their sector, because AI is already implemented in a lot of sectors, not just technical sectors. And the misconception that everyone has is that if I'm not working in technology, I don't need to know AI because I'm not a tech person. But actually AI is used in agriculture and in marketing and in business and finance, every other sector. And so everyone, especially students who are, let's say, working or studying to become, let's say, I don't know, working in finance, they need to know how AI is going to affect their industry and position themselves so that they can take advantage of this instead of being left behind or, skip the wave. So yeah, I believe this is upskilling and education is very important.
In fact, you touched a few points that Tariq were discussing earlier. When we talk about there's a lot of initiative in PDO, and Tariq promised us to give us a brief or some ideas about about how AI, machine learning, data science is actually being implemented in PDO.
Well, so first of all, as a PDO and as an organization and as a PDO digital ambition, we always encourage most or all of the employees to get a percentage of skills in AI careers, for example, data science and mathematics. But as a core business for us in PDO, we are implementing the most of the main career AR career technical paths. So, for example, we have a data scientist who are responsible about converting or solving companies' problem by by using their data. So our main focus is to look deep into the data and try to extract the patterns and trends to impact the business future. And we have also the data engineers. Their main core is to prepare the data for the data scientist. And they are cooking the data and prepare it. And sometimes we call them the data plumbers. And I encourage the people who are interested in this topic, my colleague Fadel Tamimi, who is working in our team as a data engineers lead. Tomorrow he will have a session talking about the revolution of data engineering. We also have machine learning engineers. And basically machine learning engineers or the AI engineers, when the model gets ready, their responsibility to take it into the production. So they have to build the ML system. And we also have the AI researchers. And their main responsibility is to create a new algorithms, because most of the time as a data scientist we get asked, is it your responsibility to create a machine learning algorithms? And the answer is always no. Most of the machine learning algorithms are already exist a long time ago. So the main things that we should focus on how to use that machine learning algorithms to the right problem. And we always let the problem choose the algorithm. We don't just choose the algorithm just for fun. And we have also the digital architect. The digital architect, the people who are responsible about building the AI project architecture. So their responsibility is also to know exactly the roadmap of the project, and also the future needed in order to build the right infrastructure to make sure that also the infrastructure is scalable and capable to handle this kind of projects.
So Tariq, you not only did marketing for PDO, but also you did marketing for your colleague who will be speaking tomorrow. So we are learning now. Yeah. So now with Wahid, I think we talked about the about like I believe it was last night about some initiative from universities about the future, like a future skills initiative. And my point of view was that academics should also go beyond their setting and go to the market and see what market has to say. And you get me back. You said it's not opinion. That is actually based on surveys and research. And there is something interesting, surveys I think SAP done. So could you just highlight a bit about it?
So just recently we did a survey for the complete GCC and Oman part of that. What are the priorities for 2022 for emerging technologies? And surprisingly, 71% was for AI and machine learning, okay? And 56% was for IoT, okay, Internet of Things. And then we have 52% was for cloud, and then 44% was for analytics, and then 39% was for blockchain. So this shows the demand and the need for AI and machine learning is very at the top, okay? And by the way, this was not only, it was across the countries. So same for Oman, same for UAE, same for other countries also. So the highest number of priorities was for an AI, okay? Now, coming back to your first question or first comment when you discussed about a university. See, AI is something new. It's not have been here for 2 decades or something, okay? So every time what Chris also said, there is a big evolutions happening there, okay? But the basics of the things are similar. So example, math, statics, engineering, things are there. So we need to be a little bit more creative how we can educate the next generation by adding some quick courses, by adding some quick hands-on, by giving them some use cases, by industry involving them to solve a solution. See, very nice next generation lab SAP invested in Oman with geotech. is the idea we bring the industry and we bring the student with a problem and we let the problem to be solved by the student. So these things let the student to go beyond their normal curriculums and things, okay? And by the way, the innovation globally, where it happens at the student level. So I think this is the most important area where we, Oman, need to focus on. Okay, and that's it.
So, Daniel, Daniel, there is a reason, why I kept you last, because I believe you have, very interesting topic. So, I'm not going to go through the sequence that we agreed because there's a really nice question. I don't want that, we run out of time and you don't, talk about it. I know that you also prepared a couple of videos that you would like to also talk about, but let's talk about, about metaverse. Everybody's talking about metaverse, and we've heard also some exhibitors that talk about metaverse. So, and you mentioned that there is a role of AI. It could play a great role in metaverse. Could you just explain a bit about it?
Yes, sure. Metaverse is now the hot topic. It's the most trending topic on the internet, and it's the most searched word on the internet since it was launched. Okay, so basically, to talk about AI, metaverse has several layers, and AI is involved in almost all of the layers from the base until the end. Let's take a step back as well and go to the definition, like not to the definition, to the conceptualization of metaverse and where it will be hosted. So, Web 2 that we use now currently is based on the centralization of data. So all of our data are with these monopolized by these two giants like Amazon and Google. Web 3, the concept of Web 3 is decentralization of data, and it's about the data being reserved with communities. The AI per se and the metaverse per se, when we talk about decentralization, we talk about including everybody in the world, okay? So going back to the layers of the metaverse, AI is involved in all of the layers, starting from the infrastructure to the interface and ending with the user experience. From the infrastructure, the metaverse by itself is the combination of hardware, software, and communications working together in harmony. They all work together in harmony with AI. Artificial intelligence is what promotes that or provokes that. Then when we move to the interface by itself, when we talk about interface and decentralization, we talk about inclusion. And when we talk about inclusion, we talk about accessibility. So if, for example, someone is visually impaired, they want to access the metaverse, in Web 2, it wasn't very accessible. It wasn't very inclusive. But with AI, it is inclusive because with voice recognition, you can experience the metaverse. So it's inclusive for everybody, accessible for everybody. And ending with the user experience, if you're a gamer or if you're on the metaverse to be in a class or to finish something in the workplace, what it does, it personalizes your experience based on your data and interests and where you are, the setting that you are in. So yeah, AI is involved everywhere in the metaverse. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you talk about decentralizing data, people say "Bad kharab Malta," or they already have the enough data. So we are decentralizing too late. Anyway, so I'll go back to Wahid. SAP, like many other like leading companies in the world, you interact with many different industries, and that's give you a good broad perspective that you could talk about from a level that it could be like it's very clear for you. You could see or could see the future or see the current situation in the future. So from your opinion or from what you believe as a SAP, so what is the priority of AI among the emerging technologies?
See, as I mentioned earlier, as per the survey, I see the most priority on emerging technology is AI. Okay, and today in our stand we had two use cases for oil and gas. Okay, so we were talking about AI and machine learning and digital twin. Okay, in digital pump. Okay, and we have a demo set kit there, and we were showing how these three areas affect the productivity, affect the increasing the productivity and decreasing the cost. Okay, because any maintenance of this major equipment will cost millions of dollars. Okay, so there is a lot of use cases where AI can really help us to do what we have been doing. Okay, and by the way, there is a lot of people says, oh, once AI comes, our jobs will go. This is wrong. 100 other jobs will come. Okay, so I believe it's an opportunity for everybody to be more creative in other areas rather than we do repetitive jobs. Okay, so again, I see the market in Oman and market in GCC and also globally. AI and machine learning is number one priority for everyone. Okay, yeah. So that's all. I hope that's clear.
Christoph, it's interesting that you could answer a couple of questions in one question. So I believe you answered a lot of your questions. Yeah. So, I'm personally interested to I believe I'm not sure. Zakah, is it a non-profit or is it a corporate company?
It's a for-profit company.
Yeah, but I think you also run non-profit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's also in AI in Lebanon. Can you talk about it? How it's directly working with the community, helping the community to to understand about AI, or preparing the or changing the prospect of the AI in Lebanese community.
Yeah. Actually, this is interesting because Zaka came out. We say that Zaka is a community-driven company, and the whole idea started. When I first started working in AI, as I said, in 2015. I'm based out of Lebanon, and the ecosystem back then was practically non-existent when it came to AI. And so, as someone who's passionate about this field, I wanted to build a community that would basically raise awareness and have more people who have understand AI and applying AI. And so I started a community called Beirut AI, and just with the effort of raising awareness, organizing meetups, having hackathons, kind of like that. And I was doing this on my free time while I was working on some projects. And the idea quickly grew to become the largest applied AI community in Lebanon. And this has really shown me that the need for education. So throughout the community work, I realized that people don't just want to hear about AI and how it's applied in different things. They want to understand practically, like, what does AI mean? How can I benefit from it? How can I apply it? How can I be part of it? And this is why I realized, okay, people need education, and it's not provided by them, either at university or anywhere else. They need practical education, and this is where the idea of Zaka was born. So we decided to take this problem, which also exists elsewhere in the MENA region, not just in Lebanon, and take this and scale it. And this is Zaka's mission: providing education and consultancy to help companies and individuals transition to the AI world, to fourth industrial revolution.
I'll switch to Arabic because I think most people here. So احنا لما نتكلم عن اسم الشركة هي ذكاء.
نعم.
صح. لكن احنا ممكن نقراها زكاة كزكاة المال او زكاة الفطر. وهي يعني في الانجليزية شوية صعبة انك ZAKA ممكن انا اقولها زكاة. ولكن انت بتقول لا if it's double A it's زكاة هو زكاة المال او زكاة كذا. It's really interesting and tricky word. طبعا انا سؤالي الجاي لطارق، ويعني لهذا السؤال يمكن اللي جالس جنبك أسوأ شخص، او يعني من المجموعه اللي ما تحب هذا السؤال. انا شخصيا احبه، لكن انا جاي من قطاع التعليم، احنا ما نحب هذا السؤال. احنا ما اعرف ليش دائما في قطاع التعليم دائما متخوفين من كل شيء. فاحنا نتكلم عن، او اعتقد سمعت عن انه الذكاء الاصطناعي راح يلغي بعض الاعمال، وفي احد المتحدثين ما راح اذكر اسمه لانه هو تحدث ايضا هنا، ذكر في احد المناسبات ان الذكاء الاصطناعي ايضا راح يعني يلغي المعلم او هذا المعلمين اللي متخوفين منه يعني. فهل بالفعل انه الذكاء الاصطناعي راح يلغي بعض الوظائف او يلغي الوظائف؟ واذا يبي راح يلغي ايش الوظائف اللي راح يخلقها؟ لو نركز مثلا، او هل نقدر احنا يعني نقول هذا الشيء قابل للتطبيق في عمان في القريب العاجل او لا؟
Well, let's start with the facts. So, according to one of the business forums, that they stated in the AI is going to replace about, I'm not sure about the numbers, but roughly it's about 80 million jobs in 2025. Although it is scary, but on the other hand, they also mentioned that it is going to create about 90 million jobs. So let's go back to the history. Let's talk about 40 years ago, where most of the works were done manually. So, for example, dealing with documents, writing articles, and after the IT revolutions, when the computers were invented.
So, سعادة سعيد بن سلطان البوسعيد وكيل الثقافة بوزارة الثقافة والرياضة والشباب للثقافة تدعوكم عمان لحضور تدشين المنصة الرقمية السرمدي، منصة لتسجيل الذاكرة الرقمية والرموز الافتراضية المميزة NFTs، وذلك في تمام الساعة 4 في القاعة رقم 5 بجانب مسرح مؤتمر كوميكس.
نحتاج ذكاء اصطناعي في هذه الحالات.
Definitely we should. So when the computer invented, and most of the jobs were replaced, but also new jobs get created. So for example, software engineering, data analytics, so everything, a lot of works also get created. And let's not talk to the history. This is currently happening. So there are some jobs that there is a person who sits on a desk and enter a website and just click to a link and download a file and follow a certain procedure. And currently we have the RPA, the robotic process automation. And the robotic process automation is replacing this kind of jobs recently. But also it creates another jobs which called RPA developers. So for us, I believe that it's our choice to choose. If there is a wave, either we ride it or to fight it. So as a human being, I believe that we will find a way to come over this challenge. And the short answer is no. It is going to replace some of the jobs, but it is going to create a lot of jobs.
وكيل الثقافة بوزارة الثقافة والرياضة والشباب للثقافة تدعوكم عمان لحضور تدشين المنصة الرقمية السرمدي، منصة لتسجيل الذاكرة الرقمية والرموز الافتراضية المميزة NFTs، وذلك في تمام الساعة 4 في القاعة رقم 5 بجانب مسرح مؤتمر كوميكس.
يا جماعة بس حد يبلغ عمان إنه والله بننزل التطبيق، بس خلاص ذبحونا يعني بالإعلان. زين، سؤال يعني عشان بس اتاكد انكم متابعين معانا. احنا قاعد نتكلم عن الذكاء الاصطناعي، حد عنده فكره في هالقاعه حاليا هل في تطبيق او احنا قاعدين نطبق ذكاء اصطناعي ولا لا؟ ما اعرف اذا حد يعني منتبه معانا ولا. هل في تطبيق للذكاء الاصطناعي هنا في القاعه هذه؟ ايوه ولا لا؟ زين اللي يحس انه ما في تطبيق يرفع يده. زين ما دام ما حد رافع يده يعني انتم عارفين انه في تطبيق. زين خبرنا. احنا جايب لكم 4 خبراء الحين يكفيكم هذا، ما نحتاج احنا تكنولوجيا. لا لا الله يخليك ابعدنا عن تطبيق الدخول. So I think Wahid, you have a comment or something?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the same topic. يعني نفس ال about الجوبس اللي replacing ال AI. طبعا كان عندي مثال آخر. اوكي، المثال هو الكول سنتر يوم كانوا موجودين في البنوك. البنوك يوم بدأت تسوي تشات بوت، اوكي، كثير من الناس مش بس بنوك، اني كول سنتر، فكروا انه الشات بوت يعني الوظائف اللي موجوده في الكول سنتر بيفقدوا وظائفهم. بالعكس، the banks and the other areas which they are using call center utilize them in something different to have better experience for customer, to do the first sale of point for them. So their revenue started coming from call centers. So this is another example how you switch the current jobs into something where will benefit the organization. So this was my comment on how to small switch could benefit the organization.
Noor, I think you would like to show a video or something, or?
Yes, I would like to show a video of how AI have removed the friction from our day-to-day life and how marketeers are using AI to facilitate people's lives and gain more market share. So yeah, we can show the video now. Please, thank you.
So after the video, you will have a comment, right? I just hope there's no another advertising, coming while the video.
No, there is a play button. Yeah, he found it. He just needs to hover a little bit. Don't click, just hover down.
Hey Google, book a table for 2 at El Cocotero on Tuesday at 7.
All right, just in case that's not available, can I try between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m.?
Sure.
All right, I'll call to book under your name and phone number, and I'll update you in the next 15 minutes. Is that okay?
Perfect, thanks.
El Cocotero, how may I help you?
Hi, I'm the Google Assistant calling to make a reservation for a client. This automated call will be recorded. Can I book a table for Tuesday the 12th?
Okay, cool. And how big is the party?
It's for 2 people.
Great. And when did you say they want to come in?
Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Okay, let me check. I don't have 7, but we can do 8.
Yeah, 8 p.m. is fine.
Perfect. And can I get their name?
First name is Anna.
Okay. We'll see Anna Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot.
Anna for 2.
Right this way.
So yeah, this is an example of how PDAs are being used, personal digital
That's why
assistants.
they're not concentrating with us, because we're talking to each other.
Yeah. So basically, as you can see, what AI does is that it limits the friction. So you can book a table in a restaurant without even calling the restaurant. The PDA, the personal digital assistant, can do that for you. And AI will develop or it will evolve the technology in a way that it even changes the time if they are fully booked at 7 p.m. Another thing that I wanted to mention here is the idea of AI. Not only it's seamless, it's also nothing is an ad anymore. So when we go as marketeers, when we go to search engine optimization, at the beginning we wanted to be in the top 10. When you go Google search engine, we want to be in the top 10. Then with the evolution of mobile, we want to be in the top 5 because the first 5 are the first 5 restaurants that show are the ones that we want to target to be in this position. But with AI and voice recognition technology, we want to be ranked 0. Because you're gonna ask for the best, let's say, Mexican restaurant here in Muscat, and you want your restaurant to be the first restaurant that will be called and recognized. So AI is developing marketing in ways that is exponentially big, and we need to keep with pace. So it complements the human efforts, and it helps us stay up to date and deliver everything in real time. So yeah.
You're very lucky there's no ad now. يعني خلينا نتكلم بالعربي. ذكرتي الاي اي في الماركتينج. بعيد عن سوق الماركتينج يعني سوق تستقبل يعني موظفين او شركات تستخدم الماركتينج. احنا نتكلم عن افراد. الكثير منا يستخدم السوشيال ميديا. الماركتينج يفترض يكون جزء من السوشيال ميديا اللي احنا نستخدمها. فانا كشخص ما امتلك مهارات تقنيه مثلا، يعني ما عندي مهارات في البروجرامينج او في الداتا ساينس، كيف ممكن بشكل مبسط استخدم انا الاي اي في الماركتينج for my social media accounts for personal branding whatever?
Actually, it's a very good question. Everything is social. We talk about social media. When it first came up, we didn't give it a lot of attention. But then social media and influencers grew in such a way that you cannot turn a blind eye. How can you use AI on social media? AI is about hyper-personalizing the message. So, for example, let's say I'm university, and I want to boost or get registrations for a certain degree. How can I use social media for that? So my ads as a university, for example, I'm doing the major of accounting. So I'm targeting certain psychographics, certain demographics, and people with certain interests. So what AI does is it does the algorithm for us, and it does the data analysis, and it gives us, if, for example, me as a consumer, as a user, if I'm searching for educational institute, with time, AI will know that, and it will give the university the opportunity to target their advertisement to me. So I will see the ads for the university, but let's say Faisal, for example, will see an ad that targets laptops or gadgets because he's searching, he's interested in laptop and gadgets. So social media plays a huge role, but you know, they say safe ذو حدين. Because you see one side of the story, while another person would see a complete different side of the story. So it bridges connections, and at the same time, it widens the gap between consumers, because it puts consumers in islands. Yani, I'm in an island, Faisal is an island, Tariq is an island, Christoph, and everybody is an island. So yeah, that's it.
So
So also another use case of AI in marketing is in copywriting. So there are lots of websites where you can write a couple of words, and then AI will generate like a text for the post or the blog post or whatever automatically. Yeah, content.
Yeah, I think we will wrap it up. So I'll give each one like 1 to 2 minutes to just give us like a brief, if something we did not cover you would like to cover.
Give the microphone to the marketeer, yeah? We talk too much. So yeah, we've covered pretty much everything, but when it comes to career, I just wanted to highlight one thing. You know, COVID happened 3 years ago, back in 2020, 2 years ago. Actually 3 years, it started in 2019. So when COVID happened, everybody was scared from the whole digital transformation scene. People were laid off from their jobs. Everybody got scared. The fear factor was the most important factor when COVID happened. But with time, now that we understood the importance of digital, and COVID finished, but yet digital didn't finish. Digital is here to stay, because we all understood how much it complements and it adds value to our lives. So when it comes to careers, AI, it's true, it might eliminate some jobs like telemarketing. Chatbots will take this job maybe in the future. Not currently. We are still working together, but in the future they might. But at the same time, it will give more opportunities like user experience, data analysts, and what Tariq said. He mentioned a lot of jobs that are purely technical. So I'll say mine. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Danya. I think few things I want to add on top of what Danya said. I think during the COMEX, since yesterday, I visited some booth, and I found a lot of interesting facts, a lot of people already using an AI, and we are not aware about them, okay? As you mentioned about chatbots, when I gave the example of the banks, and I discovered it only during the COMEX, okay? And I was asking them the question because I knew tomorrow I'm having a panel. So I was telling them, okay, fine. Did this reduce the number of employees in your call center? They told me no. We added some people because we added additional revenue source so we could invest more, okay? So this is some type of example. Another topic which is very important, of course, AI is very important area and developing ourselves in that area as a profession is very important. But don't forget, this is a young solution. So there will be a lot of changes coming coming another decade. Okay, so we need to be flexible how we can evolve from that. Okay. Third thing, I think the data is there. We have a lot of data. Okay, but what is utilized as per my experience, it's only 10%, 5% of that data. Okay, but still there is a lot of new jobs, a lot of technologies will come because that data is there and we need to see how we can utilize it to the best. Okay, and I think other things already I covered. So thank you for this opportunity. Chris, to you.
Thank you. So I'm going to keep it short. I think AI is here and it's here to stay. So don't be afraid of it. Try to understand what it is. Try to leverage this powerful, very powerful tool. And it's not here to replace us. It's here to augment us and to help us do our jobs easier. Thank you for this opportunity and nice to meet everyone.
Well, I just want to mention one thing that I think it is everyone here is asking why recently the AI careers path get increased. And before, especially as a data scientist, we were only thinking about how to build machine learning model, how to hyperparameter tune that model, and how to choose the right algorithm. But recently, our focus is on how to put that model in a prediction and how to design the right infrastructures that is going to be scalable and capable to handle this kind of project. And because of that, there are a lot of career paths come to handle this kind of things. So that's why we are having, so if we look at it from the top picture, the business analyst will pass the requirement to the data science. The data science will request the data from the data engineer. The data engineer is going to pass the data back to the data science. The data science is going to analyze it and extract the pattern, do the machine learning. And when the model is ready, he is going to pass it to the machine learning engineer. And the machine learning engineer is going to deploy it in a package of a website, for example, or web application or a mobile application. And this AI project need to be run in a capable infrastructure, scalable infrastructure. So I think this is the final call. Thank you very much for being here, and thanks.
I would like to thank my panelists, our panelists, for their time, especially talking while people are eating. كيف جاء في خاطركم يعني في قلبكم تاكلوا واحنا نتكلم حرام عليكم صراحة. Yeah, we cannot continue with Arabic. أنا كنت أستمر بالعربية لأنه المنظمين ما موجودين لكن جاء البيج بوس بروح ووصل. So we have to go back to English. So I would really thank you. You really brought variety of experiences, different fields, really interesting topic. I hope people here enjoyed it. And I know there's a lot of people virtually also either live now or later on, they will will have access to this talk, and they might have questions also. Hopefully, the organizer will provide, your details so that people could, interact with you guys. I know SAP here, Saka, PDO is here. So anybody have any question, any discussion, they could continue in our booth. For me, presenting Omani Society for Education Technology, you could also come visit us to know how we are also utilizing AI. Although our guys, they are so afraid of AI that it would replace their job, we're actually utilizing AI to solve existing problems, especially that was created by, not created, but it happened during, Corona, especially with kids going on online learning mode and getting access to to tablets, to phones, and without any good experience about in the internet world, we've noticed like really big rise in cyber crimes. So we're utilizing AI platforms to detect the cyber crimes, the bullying that's happening to kids, and stop that. So thank you all, and wish you luck. And also, I would like also for you guys to come. I will invite you also to come tomorrow for many interesting sessions and panels. Thank you.